So we're headed out of church. We'll see y'all later. Marcia, take over for me. So here we are. Actually, I do need to stand right here. You all stand inside there. Right in that room there. That is called a narthex. Can everybody say narthex? Narthex. Not a northex. For years I thought it was a northex, but it's a narthex. And this was the place. In the old days, we had lots of barriers to keep people out. Sometimes people think we have barriers to keep people out today. And sometimes penitents, or those who have not been baptized, could stand in the narthex and overhear the gospel. They could overhear what was said in here, but they were not allowed in. Now, come on in. Come on in. And oftentimes, the baptismal font was in the narthex. And in some churches, your narthex would be here with a... That is where you got baptized. And you know what? When I walk the streets of Casper, I talk to people who were baptized here. And they say many times, you know, I used to go to that church. Thank you. Why don't you go anymore? That's their job. They need to talk to those people and invite them back to church. But you're right. This is how we enter into church, through baptism. Through the waters of baptism, we are made one with Christ, one with this church, and receive salvation through Jesus Christ. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm not raising my hand.
You're not raising your hand. Okay. So, now follow me. Now, there used to be, sometimes again, another screen here. A cross. I'm glad you mentioned a cross because there was sometimes a rood screen, R-O-O-D, a rood screen, but more often than not, follow me, I'll show you where the rood screen used to be. So one more barrier, okay, right here, this part, every turn around, look where everybody's seated. This is called the nave, N-A-V-E. Everybody say nave.
Nave.
Now look up. Now I remember as a child, my parents told me to look up and said that the ceiling of the church looks like a boat that's been turned over. And what do you think the word nave comes from? How many have served in the Navy here? That's what I thought. From the Navy. So, and the nave is where all the people sit or stand or kneel or applaud or whatever they do. And this is called the transept area. There was another screen here. And it was to keep you all out until the time to come forward was announced. This area was reserved for the holier than thou people. That would be the clergy area. This is the chancel. Come on up here. The chancel area. Now, I can remember at my high school days, I had to go up at 5:30 in the morning to acolyte for the monks. And they had a screen there that the women had to stay behind. They couldn't come forward, and the monks had to bring communion out to the women. Were those the days are like, ooh, I better look out, especially after yesterday. I like women. Okay, so this was called the clergy area, or the choir area. We call this the chancel. Everybody say chancel. We got fancy names for everything. But you know what? We got more barriers. Come on up here. We have another barrier here to keep the people out of these sanctuaries. Now, sometimes we call this whole place a sanctuary because in the old days there were red doors that told people if they were trying to get away from someone, they could find sanctuary in a red door. And so this, come on, let's walk all the way around the altar because there are no more barriers. Come on back here. No more barriers. No more barriers to men or women. They can stand behind this altar now. Come on, all the way around. Watch your step. So this is called the sanctuary area. But you'll notice all the barriers are gone. Nothing keeps us from Jesus. Can you remember that? Say that. Nothing keeps us from Jesus. All right, now get out of here. If you will lead them to children's chapel. I ask you all, please pay special attention to the reading from Corinthians. You may